Jason, you ready for the work session? All right, well, I want to welcome everybody to the June 15th work session. I don't have a quorum, but we can go ahead and with the work session on water late fees. Who wants to start this off?
Mr. Chairman, I can give just a...
There's Wendy. Hold on a minute. We can do this right. You good?
She got her hands full as Rita. She couldn't answer the phone.
Now that we got a quorum, I need a motion to go into work session for water late fees.
Make a motion to go into quorum for, we're going to.
We know what you
Yeah,
do.
we're going into the water.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Again, thank everybody for showing up. Jason, you want to start off with the,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I'll kind of introduce the issue and then maybe turn it over to Jeffrey for some comments. A meeting or two ago, there was some discussion about the late fees, and you'll recall that the water ordinance was amended some months ago, and part of that was a flat fee for late fees. Previously we had a percentage late fee, and we'd had some issues with people maybe not being responsive to a small late fee on a percentage basis, and so the amended ordinance included a flat late fee of $15, and I think Commissioner Kitchens had received some feedback from a resident who had basically a minimum water bill of $18 and was late, and so got hit with the $15 late fee, and certainly as a percentage of her original bill, it was a pretty large amount. So there was some interest in sort of revisiting this topic, and so that's what kind of brings us here today. And I'll kick it over to Jeffrey. I think he can kind of talk a little bit about how that rollout has gone and what types of feedback they might have received from customers.
Good afternoon.
got a microphone on?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I lay before you a little bulletin format as I go through my outline, just kind of follow along. Just going to really discuss the importance of the late fee and what it does, the impact that the late fees have on the department in terms of even the cutoff day, and just my take on it, the importance of it. When I was hired as a superintendent, this department was in a deficit. Through a difficult transition, we were able to turn things around. I say that to say that my hope is that you know that I have the best interests of the county in mind, and that I would not hastily make any recommendation for a change without careful consideration of the consequences. So some of the facts regarding this pending issue. Number one, the last increase to our rate for water service was back in 2017, which we're working on 4.5 to 5 years. That's quite a span without having any increase. I have worked here for 14.5 years, and as far as I know, I don't know if we've had a significant late fee increase. So why was a flat late fee change necessary? Well, time has proven that a 10% late fee for not paying water bills on time is not enough incentive for some to pay their bills on time. For every water bill that is paid late, the county accrues financial expenses. When a late bill extends to a cutoff of service, the customer's bill is then increased, which makes it more difficult to pay and or feasible for some to ignore the system or slash bill policies. We have found that some who continue to be constantly on the cutoff list are people with means really to pay, but simply have a bad habit of paying late and not paying until they find themselves without water. Not all, but many. As a department, we always work with any customer who has a valid, verifiable hardship reason for not being able to pay their bills on time. Just for example, a customer who was in the hospital, we would ask for verification. We do not charge the late fees, and then we would put them on a payment plan of some sort. And I deal with that personally when people come in. And it could be medical issues, or it could be just a hardship that people have financially. I mean, we're more than glad to work with them. The senior citizens in our community are the ones who most pay their bills on time. Residents with limited means, for the most part, also pay their bills on time. There is not one demographic or age group that we can point to that appears to be having a hardship paying their bill more than others. However, there is in many cases habits that people have which create a dissatisfaction with such a change. So why a late fee of $15 to a bill of, say, $18? Where do we draw the line? If we start to make any exceptions in any area, we will find ourselves in an administrative debacle that does not end in exceptions. This will cost more office work, more verification of why the exceptions have to be there. The cost to the county due to late bills and disconnect of service due to failure to pay. Number one, for every disconnect of service, a team member, usually two, must respond to the resident in the county to disconnect service. Because we do not have enough vehicles for each team member, this often requires taking two people off everyday task and to disconnect the service due to failure to pay. Number two, to restore service, the above is repeated, but this usually results in a need to pay overtime. What happens there is that people come home from work at 4 o'clock, there's a big rush. There's a big rush of people wanting to try to pay before we close, and therefore the team has to work overtime in order, because anytime that anybody pays before 5, we do our best to get everybody back on there. For every disconnect and reconnect due to failure to pay, there is wear and tear on our vehicles. My vehicles, the mileage on my vehicles range between 275,000 to 310,000 on each vehicle. So that truck stays running all day long, or we're just going down the road. So there's a lot of wear and tear on that vehicle that we have to consider. For every disconnect and reconnect due to failure to pay, there is the cost of gas to be considered, even more so now than it was a few months ago. For every late bill, disconnect and reconnect due to failure to pay, the office staff is engaged in heavy volumes of calls, last-minute data entry and dispatch of team, and account adjustments. The result in excess of employee time, which equals county funds due to late or unpaid bills. So some of the questions that I have, I guess for the board, that who are the people that are complaining? I have not received any names. I don't think I have a call from any commissioner that was on the board. I'd be glad to look at anybody that has called in to look at their accounts. But are we willing to pay the extra expenses that accrue due to those who pay their bill late or have service disconnected due to failure to pay? Will you stand with me when someone goes to you? And this is a key for me. More often than not, customers who are willing to go past the office staff go to me, then leave dissatisfied that they didn't get what they wanted, close the call with this statement that they will go to the commissioner. This is a threat that they use over and over again, but it's really from a very small percentage that simply do not like changes, and no one likes changes, and or believe that this method to get their way. So my solutions are these. The residents need to pay their water bill on time. The responsibility has to be on the customer. We do everything that we can as a department to get the word out, and they have to be responsible to pay their bills on time. The policy approved and in place should be supported by all and to the community. In closing, since implementing this change, we have found that more customers are incentivized to pay their bill on time and or pay their bill with the late fee in order to avoid a disconnect. Yes, there is a very small percentage, less than 1%, that do not want to pay a late fee, whether it's a 10% flat rate, it could be $3, $5, or $15. They're just not going to want to pay it, but that has always existed. In preparing to discuss this today, I have called Bowen County, Monroe County, and Macon Water Authority. None of these agencies provide a late fee discount to any specific age group or customer. This is not only in regards to late fees, but no exceptions for any unpaid bill either. So, in other words, they don't have discounts for late fees for senior citizens, or they don't have any senior citizen discounts whatsoever. In closing, we are going into the 4th month of this flat late fee change that was approved by this board. It is working. As a department head, I'm sharing with you that it is working very well. We were commenting as a staff just a few days ago how well this process has gone through, and it goes back to the customer. The customer has responded very, very well. So I ask for your support for the policies that have been made, as well as for me, my staff, who diligently work to serve the customers in Jones County.
Jeff, I'm gonna make a comment. You made one comment in there, and I agree with you 110% that a lot of the people that aren't paying the bill are financially able to pay the bill, and those are the ones I'm getting the complaints about. And some of them that I know well enough to be candid with them, I tell them, dummy, you know you had a water bill, so don't complain to me. Pay it. You know, that's just plain and simple. Got no problem paying it, just the fact that he didn't pay it. You know, is there ways we can make their payment easier, make online or, you know, automatic draft? I'm sure there is, but right now, these, you know, the most complaints I get are, I don't know I've ever had a person complain that they couldn't pay their bill because they just didn't have the money or were financially strapped. It was always people that had the ability to pay. I did my homework because I had to call Macon. In fact, today I called Macon Water Authority and established service on one of my own house. So the young lady was nice enough to, I got to quizzing her. Our rates are real fair. You want to go Macon Water Authority? I had a tenant had a $36 water bill. When it was all said and done, she had to pay $400-something to get her water read. Why? She tampered with a meter 3 times, late fees, and before when it's all said and done, she had over a $400 bill to get her water cut back on. There was no forgiveness. What's so crazy is this young lady could have paid it, but she chose not to. You know, so
I think the department does a really good job in trying to encourage people to pay. We're very fair. Like I said, if anybody has any type of medical issues or financial issues, they can just come to us and we'll waive that fee if it's verifiable. I mean, they have to verify it, and we'll be glad to put them on a payment plan. Even when we do cutoff day, we have a system called the UB Notify, which a day before the cutoff list, the computer generates who's going to be on that list, and it does an automatic call out, and it gives them a 24-hour period where some people forget, and people really have received that very well, and some people just, even when you do be notified, just still don't come in, but at least it's a courtesy call that we give out. So to be honest with you, I think this has worked well. We're in going into 4th month of it, and I think once you get to 5-6 months, it becomes ingrained in people, and actually the cutoff list was 123, between 123 and 129 for the past 2 months with this new program. On average, when we had the 2-month window, it was about 90 to 100. So I mean, it's a little bit more, but you're taking away that 2nd month. So it goes to show you that people have really responded extremely well to get their bill paid, and pay it in time.
any comments or questions from Jeffrey?
I think you made a comment in it that, might better turn that off. You made a comment while you were explaining to us, and that you did look at those one-on-one when those people called you to look at a concern that why they couldn't, and you tried
Sure.
to verify and work with that. And I
Yes.
think that's what we need all the way around, is So I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yes, I mean, no doubt. I mean, there's people have hardships, and whether it's medical, and I can verify that in my own life, and
Exactly.
I know what grace means, and so we look at every case like that people come in, and really, if you're in a situation like that, they're not going to let their bill go on like that. They're going to get down there and get some help soon, you know. So.
Oh, I was only gonna say, and I agree 100%, Jeffrey, and you know, I don't know how many times I've called you on one-offs, I call them one-offs, and you handle it, and either call the customer or call me right back and say it's been handled or it's been taken care of. I don't care if it's late at night. Even on family members that call me raising cane, they're the worst, you know. They'll call you and say, well, my water bill was too high. Well, did you leave the water hose running? I don't know, I may have. Well, if the meter turns, you're paying, so, you know, I get all that, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate you working with the one-offs and the people that have special situations. My only concern was when this lady that called me that had an $18 water bill, and I don't know about her history. I don't know if she's late every month. She could be, but when she said, "I'm 73, 74 years old, and I have a minimum water bill every month is $18.76." And when I was late before, it used to be like $1.80, $2, and all of a sudden it's $15. That kind of struck me as odd. And I think what we've done is captured by saying a $15 flat rate. We've caught everybody in that web. If you have a $40 or a $50 bill, then $15 is not that much. But if you have an $18 one, it looks like a lot. So. And I was listening to the chairman, and I did my homework too on the Water Authority and Tri-County and Georgia Power. Everybody has utilities in our county, and our rates are comparable to Macon Water Authority as far as if somebody had tampered with their meter and a late fee and a disconnect fee and all that, we would be looking at about $556. So we would have collected more money than the $450. They'd owed us a lot more. Water Authority does not have a senior citizens and discount. What they have is the larger of $3 or 10% of the balance. So if you have an $18 bill, 10% would be $1.80. You get the greater of it, so you would be $3 on an $18 bill. If it were a $50 bill due, then the late fee would be $5. So you get the greater of whichever one, 10% or $3, and that's across the board. So in essence, we're getting more by $15 on everybody above, you know, that's not a senior. If we were to impose a senior discount, everybody would be $15. So that takes a $150 bill to make the 10%. So if we were doing what the Water Authority was doing, in order to get our $15, everybody would have to be a $150 bill that was late, $150.
There, you know, Water Authority's making, after, I think, the second late, you have to pay a deposit.
Right.
You know, so you have to basically prepaying, so.
And ours,
that's
you know,
what-
after 30
that's what's
days.
getting a lot, and having so many different properties in Macon Bibb and here in my tenants and everything, yeah, the water's the first thing they pay.
Right.
Because they know if they're, after a while, Macon Bibb's gonna make them pay, you know, additional deposit to even have the water put on top of the late fees and everything, and I don't know what our tampering was. I just remember this one young lady sitting there, and she was actually she had a payment arrangement, but then they cut it back off, and she's sitting there steadily. Boyfriend went out there and turned the meter on. They called him. They took the meter off, and he went next door to a house we were working on. Daggone, he didn't take the meter off it and put it on that house.
Oh.
So I mean, it's like it was but needless to say, when she got through, she was, you know, well in the $400 range getting her water turned back on. But and they've got that same call system that you're talking about, where they call and got that computer generated your late call making, you know.
Right. Now, one thing that Macon Water Authority does have it's nice is that they have they give it, I think only once. It's a late fee waive. They can waive a late fee if they look at the, case by case, but it's not every year, once a year, it's just one time.
Right.
And if someone just, for some reason, comes across with like a situation, that might be an option that we could look into, if they wanted to do that, but,
I also looked at Tri-County. Tri-County has, you sign up age 62 and older, Smart Pay Senior Plan. They're not charged a late fee for delinquent accounts at Tri-County. Georgia Power has a qualify up to $24 a month discount for seniors. So that's at least 10% of an average light bill. So they're giving a 10% discount. Tri-County's waiving all the fees, and the Water Authority structured theirs so that in comparison to ours, an $18 bill would never be over $3 a month. And I, by all means, want to support that if somebody has a $50, $100, $150 water bill and they're not paying their bills, $15 all day long. What I don't like is a senior citizen that is normally going to use a minimum amount anyway, which is the $18 fee. So any percentage that we put across the board hurts us in collections of delinquent accounts above a senior. And one discount for a senior doesn't hurt us near as bad, in my opinion. You got to have seniors over 65, you got to have them late on their bill, and you got to have them more than an $18 a month water bill for it to even really affect us. So I think that's a very small number of people compared to keeping it at $15 across the board. I think when we put the $15, if you think about it, we went from a 10%, $1.80 a month for a late fee to $15 4 months ago. I don't think I didn't know that was going to be an unintended consequence, and that's, I want to fix that, nothing else, just that a senior citizen on a minimum bill doesn't get charged the same as the average Joe that's just not paying his bill. And that's all I have.
Had you gotten here when he started off and said some of your best payers are the senior citizens?
Right.
yeah. There's really we don't see any demographic age group that we can tell. I can tell that because a lot of the senior citizens like to come in personally. They just like to get that receipt, and they're there.
And they're most of them are on a set income, and they have their set bills, and they know I'm going to pay this.
That's right.
I can tell you right now, my dad's going to be levelized billing and water, and he knows exactly how much is coming out every month. And if he was to get one $1 more, he'd be calling. Well, no, why is it $1 more? It's supposed to be 18. It's 19. Something's wrong. I need a new meter.
So Jeffrey, on your demographics, not to identify any one group or another, but is it the younger people that are just going to the beach and forgetting about the water bill, or they're just not paying attention to their things? Because we have to get these people. I didn't say the word, but we have to get the people. We have to get the people that are late consistently. Every month, it's a game to them. What can I get away with this month?
Yeah.
We have to get their attention. But the older people that I work with them in my business, we have to be reasonable. We have to, we essentially don't want to double their water bill by a late
Right.
fee. Something, a minimum and then a graduating scale based on percentage, I think, is reasonable. Maybe a program for a senior citizen, age 62 and older, they can apply for it if they qualify. If they're making $1 million a year at 65, they won't qualify for a late fee reduced, program. I mean, there's people like that.
I'd like to see us have a senior program that they have to apply for it, they have to verify their age, and that be the only group that is given any kind of consideration for late fees. Because like you said, he's already taking, or they're already taking care of all the people that have hardships, and those have to be on case-by-case basis, or either, you're lumping everybody in. But my only concern was that small group of people that fall into the category of the lowest quantity user and the senior citizen that happens to be late.
one thing that Ms. Tarpley did look into is in the Tyler software that we have is that it's called it can only do one type of penalty setup. If we do multiple penalty setups, it's not geared for that. So, I don't know how we're going to do that if, with our software, if we go into something like that. And we're 4 months into this. It's going to cause a lot of confusion with the residents if we turn the ship now. I think it's like I said before. I don't see the senior citizens being an issue here. I just don't. As the department head, I don't think they're the ones that are having the issue of paying. I think it's just maybe just a lax in certain, like I said, a habit of people. And that's where if you don't have a fee that has a little sting to it, to be honest with you, it's not going to matter. It's going to be a joke to them. And I think that's it's working very well. I think people are responding incredibly well to it. And you may have that small fraction that may have that type of issue. But like I said, our office is open. If they ever want to come in and just say, I'm having trouble, I'll be glad to work with them rather than doing a major policy change for really just a very fraction of it.
Well, I appreciate that, Jeffrey, and I do, and I would agree with you, but I don't see it as a major policy change and a bunch of stuff that's going to confuse people. All I would want to do is implement a senior plan that allows anybody that signs up for it that is late, even if we put restrictions where you can only do it twice a year. You can only get that waiver twice a year. That way habitual offenders don't get the benefit of just, no reason not to pay it on time. But to me, when we say there's a small amount of people, if you've got a $15 late fee and you got an $18 bill, that's a heck of a lot different than if you got a $150 bill and you got a $15 late fee. So we're penalizing the people that use the least amount. And if they're late, so if I use 150 gallons, I've used a lot more water than the $18 person. But the penalty's the same. So if you're not getting my $150, it's still just $15. But if you're not getting my 18, and I think that's what I guess concerned me the most is if you lay that scenario on any other on your light bill or your gas bill or whatever, just say you got a $200 light bill and all of a sudden it's not 10%, it's a set amount, and it's a $150 late fee. Yeah, it would get my attention not to be late. But if I'm on a set salary and a set fee and mine is $200 every month and I miss it one month and I got a $150 late fee, but if my light bill's $1,000 a month and I don't really care and I can pay it all and it's $150 a month, it may not mean that much to me. I just think we're setting, I just think that in comparison, $15 to $18 is a lot different than $15 to a $50 or $100.
Jeffrey, we talking about your Tyler system, you were talking about them signing up for this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they were to sign up for it, and I mean, it's going to be a little research on the office part, but keep the system like it is, but you can override, obviously you can override the $15 if you're able to waive it. Sound like you talk to people that have a problem, you work with them?
Oh, yeah.
So, not to mess up the program, if you manually sit there with the people that had actually applied for this, qualify, let's make them qualify for it. As far as, I'm of this age, I'd like to qualify for the in the event I'm late, the lower fee. Is that something you can manually put in there without?
I'd have to find that out. I mean, because I had her check on that, and they said it's just a one penalty setup.
Sure.
So whether we can do that with Tyler, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
How do you waive? Okay, if you waive the penalty now, how do you do it? Don't you have to zero it out in the Tyler system?
Yeah, we can go in there and do that.
So if you zeroed it out, you couldn't say, all right, we zeroed out $18, but we're going to put, or $15, but we're going to put $3 in there in its place. That won't.
No, you gotta go in there and do a lot of setting to do that.
Not
And,
knowing the program, I didn't know, I was just trying to see if
no.
a friendly
Yeah.
medium that would possibly work without totally throwing the whole system off.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying not to avoid. A lot of chaos. But to me, I think if somebody has that type of issue that misses it for one, I would have, like Macon Water Authority has that program where I can give that waiver to someone that, let's say, they may have a perfect paying record and all of a sudden they hit that rough patch, that maybe for that one time we can waive that.
Mr. Kitchen, what do you think if we did like a 2 time a year waiving of a late fee on the senior citizens?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Without,
That's,
and I'm just looking, I'm thinking about a program too, not
Right.
changing it. We've got into that one time before where we had to come back to the next meeting, change it, because we're about to foil the program. If we had just put in a policy where Jeffrey had the opportunity twice a year to waive a senior citizen's late fee, at the end of it, they couldn't do it. Rather than totally,
Yeah, you may not want to, if you don't want to open up to every age
Right.
demographic, but if you want to just narrow it into, the senior citizens, that'll be doable.
65 and above or whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I'm strictly looking at seniors because, I mean, we give senior discounts on everything in this country.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we do it on this? And, but yeah, I'm fine with limiting it to 2 a year because if they're habitual offenders, they're taking advantage of
Right.
a senior discount. I mean,
I won't mess up Jeffrey's program either.
Yeah,
That
that-
but I would have thought it would have been more work to go in and verify the senior, verify that they hadn't done it twice already this year, and then manually deduct manually waive it, and then.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot of administrative work, and that's what I mentioned
And,
in the beginning. If we start making a lot of changes, there's going to be a lot of administrative, and we want to make it as non-confusing to the public as we can.
Right.
So,
That's why I'm saying that this
Yeah.
Tri-County, they've got it where you click on here, complete the application, it automatically goes into the Smart Pay, into the Tyler system. So the Tyler system already recognizes, Tom Smith is 65 years old. I want to click to waive my late fee. Nope, you've already done it twice this year. It's not waived anymore.
How long
So-
have we had the Tyler system at the water department?
well, we had it system-wide for several years, haven't we?
So has any of the staff in your department had one-on-one training?
Yes, Ms. Tarpley is well-versed in.
I mean, because we've got Tyler too at
Yeah.
transportation for the school system.
Yeah,
and
she's well-versed in Tyler. And,
What does Macon Water use? Go ahead.
No, you're fine, I'm sorry, I didn't realize your hearing aid battery was dead, I ain't got them on.
What does Macon
That's
Water
okay.
Authority use? Because
in their software,
in their water profile, the
I have
management.
no idea what they use. to
I'm
be
just
honest.
wondering what other systems are out there that might have a better scope for management purposes, because we need something where there's a paper trail of maybe above this level, manager's approval to do certain things. And if somebody goes in there, let's just say low-level person, not calling anybody by names or whatever, they're denied. They can't go in and waive 6 late fees a year. It's a management tool.
Yeah.
If Tyler's not capable of doing that, maybe we need to get out and search and
Well, I
find
think
You might wanna
something.
look how much we spent on Tyler.
Yeah,
Oh, I know.
Tyler's a system.
I remember it was
It was quite pricey, I mean, we made
I
payments.
I
on
wouldn't have that
But-
authority, but.
But there needs to be something where it leaves not a paper trail, but there's an electronic log of, okay, I'm just going to use you for an example. Okay, Jeffrey waived, Mr. Smith or Ms. Smith, okay, Jeffrey waived it in March, and then in May, well, now it's October and he wants it again, it flags up that you can't do it.
I guess and I mean this with all due respect, I guess if we had an overabundance of people calling in about this, it would be a different story. I just don't think there's enough complaints out there in the public to warrant a change like this. I mean, we haven't even given this really a decent chance. We're only 3 or 4 months into this thing. And like I mentioned before, Sam, I have to beg to differ with you. I don't think the elderly or the senior citizens are the ones that have this issue. I just don't. And I just see a lot to try to explain this to the public as we're just going into this, and now we're going to add another layer of process to it, and it's just they're going to be confused. And to be honest with you, all due respect, we probably should have talked about this before. And so I think, my opinion, I like to just leave everything as it is for now, if we need to. That's my opinion.
Sam, you've had the one complaint, all my complaints.
Two complaints within the last month, and both of them are seniors, and both of them have minimum water bills. And I'm gonna stick by my guns. I mean, I appreciate it, Jeffrey, and we will agree to disagree and leave here friends, but and I'm not being smart aleck, but that's why you're operational and we're decision made, because I have to deal with my vote that is it right or wrong to charge an $18 bill, $15 late fee versus a $150 bill of $15? That's levelizing the playing field across the board when it's not level. When the seniors do not use the same amount, they don't use our same resources on our system, they don't tax our system the same. So we shouldn't penalize them the same as somebody it takes a bigger pipe, it takes a bigger pressure, it takes a bit more water, and it cost us, we're not making money off of them the way we are a $150 a month person. So I don't think we should penalize them. For me, it's a simple fact of we went from $1.80 a month late fee. We voted to do it, and you're right. We should have talked about this, and it's probably in black and white that we looked at it. These are unintended consequences that came up to our attention, and I was asked the question, as a commissioner, are you okay with changing my $18 a month water bill? It's been $18 a month for 10 years. Are you okay with changing my $18 a month water bill if I'm late from $1.80 to $15? Is that okay with you? And I said, no, it's not okay. To me, that's not okay that we made that decision to make that change. I 100% agree with you that we don't need to condone not paying your bills, because that's hurting our system, that's hurting every other taxpayer, and that's hurting our ability to provide water to everybody else in the county. But I fundamentally disagree that we don't offer our senior citizens some kind of discount when the least of us were affected the most.
We got time for citizen comment. We've got a citizen. Mr. Doug, you want to come up and say something? Jeffrey, if you got any questions, you can answer it for him.
My name is Doug Rupke. I live at 127 Coppergate. I fall in a lot of these categories. My water bill is $18. I'm a senior citizen. I'm a Vietnam vet, which makes me a senior citizen. I receive military disability, so I'm economically disadvantaged, and I pay my water bill all the time. I go down and pay in advance, so I don't get stuck with a $15 bill, which is over my water bill. Okay, right now the way the ordinance or the policy reads, if I'm 3 weeks late, they'll cut my water off, charge me $15, charge me a $50 reconnect fee, so that's $65. That's 3 times my water bill, plus I'll still have to pay my water bill. Yeah, that 3-week cutoff without doing the carryover on the balance really gets me. The water, when I signed up for the water, moving down here, I came down here on a weekend with a load, then I went back and got another load. Well, on the weekend, prior to moving down here, I called the power company. They turned my power on, and they said, when you get down here, you come down, you pay your application fee and $5 membership. So when I came down here, all my lights are on. Well, the water company wouldn't do that. So when I moved down here, which was during the week, I had to go down there in person. They won't take anything over the mail. sign up, do a $100 deposit, which is 3 times my water bill that they're holding. I don't know where that money is, if it's drawing interest or not. If it is, that should be played into this penalty somewhat. But, and I'm trying to, the Tri-County electric bill, I pay automatic debit from my account, so I don't worry about it. I can't do that with the water. I have to go down and pay it or use a credit card, which will cost me extra $30 a year. Which, you know, I don't want to waste money. And Tri-County doesn't charge me anything. The election department here, I can pay my taxes from an escrow account. I have to bring the bill down to the bank and they'll pay it. I won't get charged for that. Or I can, you know, do it with a debit card and get paid, charge a 3%, I think. So there again, wasting money. But if the water company could, you know, set up something where I could do an automatic checking account draft, where it's automatically paid, I wouldn't have to worry about being late. A lot of situations happen where you're unable to pay. When I was living in Memphis, I was up on the roof, getting ready to re-roof the house. A tree branch out of nowhere, this size, broke off the tree, landed on my shoulder, broke my shoulder, knocked me off the roof. I landed on a metal fence, broke 5 ribs, bounced off that, you know, was on the sidewalk with a concussion. I went to the hospital. I didn't worry about, you know, not paying my water bill. I had other concerns.
Right. And that's where Jeffrey said that when you come to him on that one.
Yeah, but, you know, I could have been in the hospital when this, you know, due date thing, and nobody, I live by myself. Nobody would have been there.
Sure. And I agree with, I mean, we need to look at more payment-friendly options for the water, you know.
Yeah. And
We've even talked about
This is-
options as far as even establishing water service. We've talked about that in the past, you know, where someone can get on the
Yeah.
phone and establish water. Yeah, I think that's something that we need
Yeah.
to look into also.
That's what I was talking about here.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah, Tri-County has, you know, like 4 different plans, which is available, and there's one for senior citizens and stuff. And I'm not real concerned about the penalty because I pay. But if I didn't pay, or, you know, something happened where I couldn't, or as the economy kind of implodes here, there's going to be more people living from paycheck to paycheck. And they can become economically disadvantaged overnight. They could lose their job, they could get stuck in the hospital. So that three week of late fee, you get cut off, then you have to pay a $50 reconnect fee. Okay, if you got new service, you have to pay an application now, for $25, I believe, and they'll connect your water. But if you want to connect it the same day, it'll be $10, and if it's after 3 o'clock, it's $25. But if you do it the following day, there's no charge. Okay, it's $50, you know, to do the same skill set to reconnect somebody that's been disconnected or not. But the $50 plus the $15 late fee, that's 3 times my water bill.
Okay.
So, and the way the policy reads right now, it says that you will be disconnected. There's no wiggle room there. And to restore, it'll be $50 fee, and you have to pay any remaining balance. And the water rates, the reconnect fee is $50, and for new services, there's no charge unless you want same day. It's $10, and after 3 o'clock, it's $25. How come, you know, $50 to get reconnected?
Sure.
That's not, you know, really fair. Especially if, like I said, I'm a senior citizen, economically disadvantaged, Vietnam vet, living by myself, and I spend more money on gas keeping my lawn cut than watering it, where the water bill would probably come up.
Sure.
So there's, things like that, I really think, should be looked at. But that 15-day or 3-week cutoff thing is the thing that gets me. There's no carryover on the payment, no past due. If there was a past due, that might avoid the cutoff, and the people that need the extra time because, of situations in life.
Sure.
Uh,
Well, Mr. Doug, we appreciate, I want to make sure there's nobody else wants to speak, but we do thank your
Okay,
input.
thank you.
What's the board think, and Jeffrey asked me, we've got some opportunity to have some more user-friendly options in place for payment and all. Having a work session when we can maybe put together some of these where we can do the bank track, because we don't have that now, do we?
Working with Jason
All
on
right.
getting all that together, the ACH.
Yeah, I mean, we have a way to do online bill pay.
Right.
And I say that, Jeffrey, because my wife texted me today a picture of all our water bills, and she realized that I didn't take them with me and normally pay them, and so I just texted her back and I said, I've already paid them online, because I would have paid $15 times 5 today, and I'd have really been upset with her, because I don't have that 65-year-old waiver there.
Well, so you're the one we talking about, we just got it and won't pay it.
I paid it.
Because your wife caught it.
Average water bill? It's around $30 or?
Right, within 25, 30, I mean, for the.
That's the average
people in the
across the board.
I'll tell you what mine is.
Well, Jeffrey, when you can get something put together for the board, let's schedule another work session to give options,
Payment.
on payment. I'd like to see options on a little more user-friendly, like landlord being able to call in and establishing service, I can literally sit in the driveway of one of my rental houses and get every utility turned on in 20 minutes, sitting in the driveway without driving up and down the road. And just ideas that, other people are using. Anyone else? Any more comments or questions from commissioners? No? I have a motion to adjourn work session. We'll take a break and prepare for our open meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye? Ayes have it.